Are you nervous you're going to be mentioned in the manifesto since it's confirmed he followed Connery's pants on Twitter and thus probably knows you? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Person of interest has been named in the murder of UHC CEO Brian Thompson, and his name is Luigi Mansione. He's literally Luigi's Mansion. Mamma mia! A Nintendo psyop. And it turns out this guy was extremely active on social media. Unfortunately for his detractors, and unfortunately for CEOs everywhere, was hot. He's like Giga Chad ripped. And so people have found his Goodreads and his Reddit and his Twitter and all of his social media and have started to try and unpack as much as you can unpack about a person's life through stalking their social media. And one thing they found was this has the R word, so be careful. He doesn't say it, but he responds to someone saying it. He got a PhD, apparently. He also, something I support, hates coffee and Lex Friedman. First coffee in the morning is one of my favorite things about life. It's amazing how caffeine is the only drug that's achieved this level of social acceptance. Imagine someone saying the first line of cocaine in the morning is one of my favorite things in life. He retweeted that. Two birds with one stone. And anyway, to be more serious, through looking at his post history, it does seem that he recently, as of a few months ago, maybe not a few months ago, it could have been a year, got severe back pain. Yeah, he's pretty all over the place politically, but what clearly radicalized him in this situation is that he got severe back pain. These are two books that he both read and reviewed about the back pain industry, and clearly his inability to get, I don't know, functioning care from that is probably a large part of what made him go off the deep end here. All this is going to come out more over the next few days. This is all relatively recent, and again, this is not anything's confirmed. He hasn't been charged. He's a person of interest, but it does all seem to line up, especially his statements on Goodreads about, you know, violence to solve problems, and he read the Unabomber's manifesto. So they caught him at a McDonald's.
Luigi Mangione said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. He said, I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. And then he also said that that bag was waterproof. And the term that the prosecutors used when discussing the Faraday bag, the ghost guns, the 3D printed silencer, was the prosecutors used a phrase saying this is criminal sophistication. Luigi Mangione said, I don't know about any of this criminal sophistication when addressing that.
This man killed a CEO, fled, and had $10,000 in petty cash on his person. I did not have any of that money. I'm broke. I don't have any of that cash. Just told my 10-year-old daughter about Luigi Mangione. She had tears in her eyes. And then she did the Wakanda pose and said, Luigi Conda forever, which is the sort of pop culture crossover I can celebrate. Yeah, so what I was getting to is like his whole post history and social media, and again, there's probably more we'll discover, but from what I've seen, it's all within the realm of normal or like tech bro. I know many people with the exact same kind of, he said he played Smash Brothers, and it's all like, I know a guy that played Jigglypuff that says exactly the same things as him. All up until about a few months ago when he disappeared. And a lot of friends and family couldn't get in contact with him. There's people reaching out on social media trying to find him. It does feel like within, basically since the back pain, has been a dramatic change. Something went wrong in this guy's life. He worked on Civ. That's right. He was like an associate on Civ. I think he helped debug. Anyway, he was caught at a McDonald's. So I saw this tweet. The assassin had a good run, but in the end, no American can resist the urge to eat cheeseburger. In case you were wondering whether the rest of society changed because of this, don't worry. We still got a Luigi Mangione coin today that hit $25 million in market cap day one. That's good. People were instantly ready to turn this into crypto. I wish I had one more day to add to the max stupid. Wait, I'm sorry. It's the updates is now over 54 million, up 34,707%. One of the greatest investments you could make of all time would be to buy Apple stock 30 years ago or Luigi Mangione stock this morning. The two ways to make life-changing wealth. He did shit on Jordan Peterson with a statement that I do agree with. This is why Jordan Peterson always bothers me. Overcomplicates everything he says out loud, wasting everyone's mental bandwidth and having to decipher it. The best teachers are the best communicators, clear, succinct, simple language. I fuck with that heavy. Luigi's Mansion. Oh, he also, He had a donkey quote in this yearbook. Another day, another play. Who the fuck gets a full page in your yearbook? Well, I gotta say, I mean, this kid's also, to my understanding, pretty well off. That's what's shocking to me, is that this kid did not have issues with money. He's a valedictorian at a prep school. And then obviously people made, this is a rendition of what happened. Luigi arrives in America, gets denied for health insurance, kills a CEO, and then is locked up at a McDonald's. That is sort of a story in 4 parts, kind of like Lost. Just got charged. He has been charged with murder. That is correct. Facing 4 other charges, including 1 count of forging a document and criminally possessing a firearm. He had multiple fake IDs and a 3D printed gun. That's crazy. A 3D printed gun. Dude, I read a book called Makers, and it was about imagining a future where 3D printers become so common and there's 3D printed guns everywhere and they're completely untraceable and everyone's getting new guns all the time. Connery's pants? What did Connery's pants say? He's a fan of gold Overwatch gameplay. Fucking way. He really does follow Connor. Connor might fake this though as a funny tweet. It is fake? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Connor's brain is actually built for thinking of the funniest possible tweet for situation. He had a manifesto. So I've heard the manifesto might be fake, in that some people, some like press, are not wanting to publish it because they can't verify. So I don't know if I should look at that. I did want to look at his, so he did have a Goodreads where he talked about, I want to find his Goodreads on the Unabomber where he talks about his philosophy towards violence. But he seems to have been extremely online, or at least as online as any like young dude in the tech space. And so there's going to be a lot dug up over the next few days. What do you think the chances jury nullification saves him? I mean, my guess is 0. If you mean he saves him, like he's assuming he killed him, that he's going to get away and they're going to like not send him to jail, I would say 0. What if Joe Biden pardons him? You know what his only hope is? His honest to God only hope is to smoke crack with Hunter. If he smokes crack with Hunter Biden, he might get a last second pardon because it's kind of a blanket thing, you know? He was criminally cited in Hawaii State Park last year. Wow, he's a violent criminal. He's got a history. He went into an area that was closed inside of a state park. Holy shit, dude. A repeat offender? I can excuse killing a CEO once. Killing a CEO and trespassing? Excuse me? This is when he was radicalized? Bro was a normal everyday kid, and then he got a citation, a $79 fine, and said, I'm tearing the system down.
Hey, Adish here. Atrioc had a couple more thoughts about the UHC shooting, but this stuff was recorded before the shooter actually got found.
But here's what I'll say. Here's why I feel, you know, I still feel some type of way about everyone cheering it. And it's not that I think this guy didn't have it coming, because he really did have it coming. There's a book called The Isle of Dr. Moreau. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it. You probably have not. It has a very shitty movie made, but it's a great book by H.G. Wells. I read it a long time ago, and it kind of stuck with me. And it was what I was thinking of as I was, you know, seeing some of the reactions. By the way, one good thing about the reactions, I will say this. Let me give one more up to this. That is another thing I saw. One really cool thing about this murder is that it is like one of the rare political events that is truly aligning people across political spectrum based on class. It is the only place where you can find someone in r/conservative or a Ben Shapiro comment or whatever, and they're all like, hey, these guys suck. And it's like a rare uniting moment where we're not being divided on trans bathroom discussions or something. Like, people are like, wait a minute, these people are fucking us over every day of our lives. So I do think that's cool. However, you know, obviously everyone's celebrating murder. It reminds me of, in this book, Isle of Dr. Moreau. I'm gonna spoil the book. If you haven't read it, you're probably not gonna read it. I'm gonna spoil it. And I'm gonna show you a picture from the movie. This is a terrible movie, but I'm gonna show you a picture to help you get an idea. So in the movie, this guy washes up on an island, and on this island, he finds these strange half animal, half people. And he finds a scientist there who fled Britain, who's been performing these crazy experiments to turn animals into humans. He made like a dog person and a puma person and a pig person, okay? He's been like turning animals into people. And as you read the book, he's stuck on the island, so he's living there for a while amongst them. And they have this weird kind of society where the scientist has a gun and a whip, and he rules the society. And everybody else, they're trying their best to act like humans. The animal people, they're like, say this chant every day. They're like, we don't drink on all fours out of the watering hole. Men don't drink out of watering holes. We don't eat flesh. Men don't eat flesh. We don't bite each other. Men don't bite. We are men. You know what? They say this chant every day to try and they wear clothes as best they can, and they try to like be polite to each other, and they're like trying their best over the course of the thing. Spoiler, halfway through the book, the guy that runs the scientist dies. He dies in an accident. And all of a sudden there's no like authority keeping it all together. And slowly but surely the main character starts to see that these guys slip away from being human. They start to like, he catches one of them like on all fours drinking, and then one of them, they snarls at each other. And then right near the end of the book, there's a fight where the dog person, who's really loyal and kind, fights the puma person, and the dog person dies. He gets killed. And then after that, the bloodlust starts to set in, and the whole island goes chaotic. And it just reminds me, I get that feeling. It's not that this murder was particularly bad. There's murders all the time in America, and of all of them, this is like one of the most justified. I'm not even, it's just like, I get this sense that we're all just animals that have been putting on suits and ties and trying to follow some rule of decency or law. And it's slowly, we're like testing the waters and nothing's happening. Do you know what I'm saying? We're testing the waters and we're just devolving. That's what I feel. That's why I get upset about it or a little bit, or I feel like some kind of way, even though I totally understand the arguments about who gives a fuck at this fucking CEO. He's a rat bastard. I get it. That's what I'll just give you my take. That's what I feel like it's Dr. Moreau coded. And maybe it's not this one, maybe it's the next one. You know what I'm saying? Where we have to justify the next one or the next one. And again, if you look at history, you look at like the Reign of Terror in France. The monarchy in France was horrendous, reprehensible. Kept people poor and dirty and underfed and mismanaged the country and great wealth inequality. And so they have a revolution. They have the French Revolution, and it's based. It created liberty. All right. I mean, there's a lot of ideals from that we use in our country. All right. And they guillotine a noble leader, okay? They guillotine the king. That guillotine, you could say justified. But then they start guillotining the next guy, and 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 the next guy. And all of a sudden, they're guillotining thousands of people a day. They're guillotining hundreds and thousands of people, and all of a sudden, people are accusing people of random things to get them guillotined, and no one's checking, and the mob gets angrier and angrier, and they get so addicted to the rush of guillotining people. People start abusing it. They start figuring out ways to get the mob angry at someone so they can get their political rival guillotined. And then, by the way, at the end of it all, everyone got so fed up with guillotining, they brought in a dictator. You have to understand, like, only understand that once the mob once they get a taste of like, yeah, this feels good, it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle. Even in this case, I mean, of all the ones it could be, this one's like pretty justified, but I'm just, that's my take, all right? I'm just giving you, I have a lot of thoughts spiraling about it. I think it's so interesting. I think it's a very interesting moment. I think it's gonna have repercussions. I mean, the guy's almost like a folk hero. I saw a fan cam of this guy, like a Charlie XCX music fan cam of the CEO shooter. There's all sorts of shit happening. My take is we should go down the line until we get to H-Rock. So you mean kill every single person richer than me and then stop with me? All right, I can get behind that. I'll be the Elon Musk of broke world. All I'm asking you is like, you know, you played the parlay, you got lucky, you won. Don't get addicted, you know? That's all I'm saying is don't get addicted, because history, it ends badly. Oh, by the way, I mean, one thing I did call, the phones at corporate security firms are ringing off the hook. Yeah, the immediate reaction was not self-reflection. It was, I need a elite team of bodyguards. Investing in corporate security stocks literally would be a good idea. The trade might be already over, but like literally that's a growth industry. Corporate security, job growth sector. That'll save us. That'll save the economy. Everyone can become a CEO bodyguard.